Hey, welcome back to me, Jean Poppy's Kitchen. I cannot think of many things that sound better than breakfast for dinner. I just love the idea of breakfast for dinner. So I have a friend coming over tonight, and I told her I'd make dinner for her. So we are doing my favorite thing, breakfast for dinner. So I searched through Pinterest to find some really good recipes. And what I came up with for tonight is a hash brown crust quiche. And then we are going to do a chocolate croissant bake. And then a fruit and yogurt parfait. And finally, some candied bacon if I have time. So let's keep our fingers crossed because I love this candied bacon. If I don't have it tonight, I'll do a video for it by itself sometime soon because it's so good. All right, so I cannot wait. I only have a couple of hours. So, and I've got some things that have to kind of make ahead of time and let them sit. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we'll start with is the hash brown crush. That's hard to say. Hash brown crust quiche. Okay, so it's just like it says. It's got a hash brown crust, which is great for Poppy because this makes it gluten free. Hash browns are gluten free. So I have made this before because I was looking for a gluten free recipe, a breakfast recipe, and I came across this one. And it was so good. So I can't wait to make it again for Carla. Um, okay, so I have sprayed a 9-inch springform pan. Um, and now I thawed some hash browns out, the shredded hash browns. Um, and you are squeezing as much liquid out of there as you can. Um, and let me just give you a little tip. My hash browns were not thawed. They're supposed to be thawed. They weren't thawed when I started making this. So I put them in the microwave for a minute and they still weren't good and thawed. So I kind of stirred it around and did it another minute. Perfect. Okay, so I've got that squeezed just with paper towels. And then I'm adding a half of a cup of cheddar cheese, a half of a teaspoon of salt, and a fourth of a teaspoon of pepper. Maybe a dash more. All right, and then I'm going to stir that together and we're going to press it on the bottom and the sides of the pan. Um, and it emphasizes, do not leave any holes because you're going to pour the egg mixture on top of it when it's time. And of course, if there's holes in it, they will just go right through. If there's not, it will hold it all in place. So I'm just going to dump it in there. All right, and then just press down and kind of push more to the sides so that you can, get that in place and press that in. Just like this. Just keep flattening till it's flat like a crust. And you might encounter, as you do this, some holes that pop up. And if you do, just cover them up with some extra little hash browns that are floating around. I'm just taking my fist and just kind of flatten it around the sides first so I can make sure those are good and done. And now I'm going to make sure the bottom is done. Looks really good. So far, I don't see any holes, but I'm going to just keep press towards the edges, make sure that's all right. That's good. So now what we're going to do is we have to freeze this for an hour. So that's why I'm saying we had to go ahead and get ready and get started because there's some things we're going to do. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to do the granola for the fruit and yogurt parfaits. Can you buy granola from the grocery store to do this? Absolutely. But I love this homemade granola I'm about to show you. Um, I make this all the time. I don't ever buy granola from the grocery store because you can control your own what kind of sugar you use in it or sweetener. You don't have to use sugar. What kind of sweetener, you can control the amount of salt, everything. So anyway, okay, I'm going to put this in the freezer, and then I'm going to show you the granola. Now for my go-to granola. I started making this years ago, and I sampled different recipes, and I just keep coming back to this one. This one is so good, and like I have to hide it when I make it from Poppy because he'll just sit there and just eat this, and it's not that it's difficult to make, but it takes time and lots of ingredients, and he'll just eat it up. So this is just, I mean, that's how good it is. So make this. Okay, so you start with 4 cups of oats, and all the recipes suggest um, the old-fashioned oats, not the quick cooking oats. I think you can use the quick cooking oats, and I have forgotten. I've made this so much I don't even read the recipes anymore. I have forgotten why the old-fashioned oats are suggested, but they are. Um, okay, so I've got that. So this particular recipe, it's build your own healthy homemade granola is what it's called. And so it gives you choices. So you've got your 4 cups of oats. And then you add a cup of raw nuts or seeds. So you can add whatever you want. So I had in the pantry some cashews, I had some peanuts, and I had some almonds. So I did pulse those in the food processor till I got them the size I wanted. I like them chunky but not whole. Okay, so add my cup of nuts, then a teaspoon of spice. You can add cinnamon, allspice, or nutmeg, it says. I'm just going to go with the old-fashioned cinnamon. So you're adding your dry ingredients first, okay? So then you can add, your other choices are a cup of coconut, a pinch of salt, half of a cup of dried fruit. Not doing that. Okay, and that is all for the dry ingredients. So you mix those together, and then we're going to mix the wet ingredients together, and then put them with the dry. And so the wet ingredients, your choices are a third of a cup of fat. And you can choose butter, coconut oil, olive oil, or canola oil. I have coconut oil just because I love that slight coconut flavor that coconut puts in it. Um, and then a third of a cup of sweet, which your choices, some could be honey, agave, maple syrup, or brown sugar. I have done brown sugar and I have done honey, and I like them both. The honey, it seems like it makes it a little chewier, and the brown sugar a little kind of more crisp. And I do like them both. So guess what I'm doing? And I like my granola kind of sweet. So I'm putting in a third of a cup of honey, and I'm going to add a little brown sugar, but it's the guilt-free kind. Swerve. Okay, so I'm going to put a little brown sugar in here too. Just, I don't know. And then 1.5 teaspoons of extract, vanilla or almond. I'm going to do vanilla, my homemade vanilla, which I love. Okay, so you mix that together. That's all the wet, right? Yes. Oh, and it says if you want clumpy granola, to add 2 egg whites. I am just spilling my oil all over the place. I don't realize what a messy cook I am until I am filming one of these. Okay. So you pour that over the mixture, and I'm going to have to add a little bit more oil. I'll just add some olive oil because I have to melt my coconut oil. Stir it all together. Add a little dollop of olive oil because I spilled some of mine. And make sure, this is when you really do want to make sure you get it all stirred up so that all of the oats get covered with the sweet and the salty and the oil and all of that. So just keep stirring until you can tell that it's all covered. And I have my oven preheated to 300 degrees. And then I'm just going to put all of this on a large pan, spread it out so that it just covers the whole pan and you don't have a thick layer. You're trying to thin it out as much as possible so they all get toasted on the bottom. But we're also going to put this in the oven, and I take it out about every 15 minutes and stir it up a little bit, put it back in, and it says to keep it in there for 45 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. That's how simple homemade granola is. You just wait till you try that. Okay, now we're going to go to, let's see, we're going to, the chocolate croissant bake. Never made this before, but boy, I can't wait for this one. Cannot wait to try this. My mouth is watering as I am reading the instructions. Okay, so you're supposed to have 6 large croissants, preferably a day old, torn into large chunks. So I've done that, and they're in this bowl. And then I'm just reading the instructions because, again, I have not done this. Okay, so it says don't worry about being neat, just tear them into rough chunks. Then you're going to put half of those in a baking dish. Okay, it says 9 by 13, but it didn't look like there was enough because you're doing 2 layers. There's not enough for a 9 by 13. So I got a smaller dish, and I think that was a good call. Okay, so I've got half of those there. Then you have a cup and a half of semi-sweet chocolate chips, or what did the other thing says? Or chopped chocolate. Okay, so you're putting half of this, so 3/4 of a cup of the chocolate chips on top of this. Okay, and then it says repeat with the remaining croissants and chocolate. Okay, so put the rest of the croissants on top of that, and then sprinkle the rest of chocolate. So Carla and I got to go to Europe together with some other friends and family last summer, and they had the best chocolate croissants. So this is kind of a throwback to our trip to Europe. Okay, so, and if these are half as good as what we had there. Whew. Okay, in a large mixing bowl, I'm whisking together 4 eggs and then 1.5 cups of whole milk, a half of a cup of heavy cream. So if you're lactose intolerant, beware. Okay, and then a half of a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, which is optional. So since it's optional, I'm not going to put a whole teaspoon. I'm just going to put like a little, that's probably about a half of a teaspoon. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then we are whisking this together until it smells like a dessert already, it says. And I'm not even through whisking, and it already smells like a dessert. Yum. Vanilla and cinnamon and cream and sugar. Wow. Okay. We have no, I'm not preheating my oven yet because you have to let this sit for a little bit. Okay, so it says you're looking for a smooth mixture that smells like dessert already. And then we are going to gently pour, which, you know me, I don't gently do anything, so no telling where all this is going to go. So we're pouring it all over. Oh, goodness gracious, this is where my 9 by 13 may have come in handy. No, this is good. This is perfect. I'd rather have like a full looking dish than like a thin layer of it. Okay, then it says when you've got all that poured in there to press down lightly with a spatula to make sure all the pieces get a good soak. Okay, I think I've done that. Then it says let the dish sit for 20 to 30 minutes at room temperature, or for best results, cover and refrigerate overnight. I do not have time for that, so it is sitting for 20 to 30 minutes. And let's see, what will I do next? I have stirred the granola once. I'm probably about to stir it again. What else do I need to do? Oh, the quiche. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'll do the quiche, the inside of the quiche ingredients. All right, here we go. Okay, before we go to the quiche, would y'all look at this? Can you see it? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish what the instructions tell me to do because I'm going to be following the instructions and I probably won't be filming, just me putting this in the oven. So after this sits out for 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to bake it in a 350-degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes until the top is puffed and golden and the custard is set. If it starts to brown too quickly, tint it with foil during the last 10 minutes. Let it rest for 10 minutes before slicing. Dust with powdered sugar and top with fresh berries if you like. Serve warm with coffee or even a dollop of whipped cream. Okay. All right. Can't wait for this one. Now to the quiche. Okay, so the granola is done. It's just golden and it smells really good. So that's done. I'm going to let it sit to the side and cool. And as it does, it kind of crisps up. I am chopping some vegetables because Carla loves vegetables. We have traveled a good bit together, and I have noticed she loves vegetables in her eggs. So I'm chopping some vegetables. I'm doing some, although this recipe doesn't call for it, but it's a meaty tweak. So I'm going to do tomatoes, onions, bell pepper, and some spinach. We're also adding ham, a little cubed ham and cheese in there. But it said that you are to, let me turn this to 375, and you are to you take the frozen crust out of the freezer, put it in a 425-degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes before you put the stuff in there, before you put the rest of the ingredients in there. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep chopping the vegetables and then I'll show you how we put it all together. Okay, you're adding 6 eggs to the bowl. I've already added 5. Here's the 6. And then it says you combine the 6 eggs with half of a cup of heavy cream or whole milk. I had heavy cream from the croissant bake, so I'm just going with heavy cream. I don't ever use heavy cream unless it just says it. Okay, and then it says combine, whisk together until light and fluffy. And then it says add remaining ingredients. I do know that when you make scrambled eggs or something like this, the more you whisk it, the fluffier and better that the eggs are. So I'm going to whisk for a minute. Okay, and the rest of the ingredients, let's see. For their ingredients, it is a half of an onion thinly sliced, 4 slices of bacon crisply cooked and crumbled. Instead of that, I am adding a package of cubed ham just because, I don't know, it just sounded good with the vegetables. So anyway, that's what I'm going to add. And then a cup of white cheddar cheese, a tablespoon of chives thinly sliced. I'm not doing that. And then salt and pepper to taste. Okay, so for me, I'm adding about a half of a tomato. Maybe like that was 3/4 of a tomato. Maybe a half of an onion, if that much. About 3/4 of a green bell pepper and some chopped fresh spinach. So that's what I'm adding to ours. And then I will add the cheese. It's a cup of cheese. Okay. And I've added my vegetables, the ham, and then salt and pepper to taste. So just whatever you think is good, a good amount. That was a half of a teaspoon, and I'm putting just a tad bit more. Eggs to me are so plain unless you season them well. Okay, putting in some pepper. Oh, and I was thinking that basil would be really good with this. So I'm going to sprinkle in some basil. That's probably half teaspoon of basil. Mix that together. Our crust should be just about ready. Let me check on it. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then we're going to pour this into this and bake it at, I think it said 375. Yes, for 25 to 30 minutes until the eggs have just set. And then you're going to remove the quiche from the oven and run a paring knife around the perimeter of the springform pan. Loosen the springform pan from the sides of the quiche and place quiche back into the oven for an additional 10 to 15 minutes. So don't think you're through after your first 25 to 30 minutes. And it says this will help get the crust crisp on the edges. And then remove the quiche from the oven and let it cool for 10 minutes. Okay, so here we go. That is just full of good stuff. This is going to be good. This is so pretty. Wow. That is impressive. And I didn't do anything to be impressive, but it turned out so pretty. Okay. Mine is leaking just a tad. So, like it said to not leave any holes. I didn't think I did, but apparently I must have left a little hot water too. And it's not bad, but okay. Going in the oven. Kitchen smells delicious. Woo. I'm bringing this out, the quiche, because it says to run a knife. This is the point where I run a knife around the edge and then loosen the springform pan so that the crust can get even crustier. so beautiful. No kidding. I had no idea. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so let's see. Where's my. Okay. It didn't say take it off, it just said loosen it. But heck, I'm going to take it off. Okay. Minji does her own thing. It's how she wants to do it. And I'm about to take this chocolate croissant out. Oh, you should see this. Can you see that? I have a feeling we're going to give Europe a run for its money. That looks and smells incredible. That was so easy. And think of how like impressive that would be. For me, if I were doing it again, I would, because it does call for a 9 by 13, and that would be nice to have a big 9 by 13. So I would at least double. I mean, not at least double. I would maybe do like 10 to 12 croissants instead of just 6 and do it that way. I think the rest of the stuff would be fine. The rest of the ingredient ratio would be okay. But anyway, that's what I would do next time. I'll try it that way. But I can't wait. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing for the yogurt parfaits. So I've put the yogurt in a cute little dish, and I'm going to have 3 different kinds of berries: blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. Put those in different little bowls. I've got the granola in Poppy's Granny's bowl that I got. Um, and I just love this, like this vintage bowl. So I've got the granola in that, got spoons and everything. I'm going to put honey beside it, and then you can just create your own granola parfait. And so can't wait for that. This, the quiche. I don't think I'm going to have time for the candied bacon. I'm going to try. I'm going to see what else I have to do, and if I have time, I'll do it real fast. Okay, let me get going so I can try to get it done. Okay, Carla's not here yet, and I've done everything that I need to do. So let's get this done. Let's make some man candy or candied bacon. Um, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start with a pound of thick cut bacon. It's got to be thick cut. Um, then a cup of brown sugar, which I've gotten here. It says half of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I'm just kind of guessing because I'm in a hurry. A teaspoon of paprika. I don't love paprika, but it is good in this, so I'm probably going to be a little lighter than a teaspoon just because I don't love it. A teaspoon of chili powder. Trust me. Oh, oh, let me get my chili powder. Okay, teaspoon chili powder. A teaspoon of cayenne. That is a little brave for me, so I'm just doing a little sprinkle of cayenne. Cayenne is hot. And then it says 4th teaspoon garlic powder, 4th teaspoon onion powder, salt and pepper. I don't ever do that. I just pulled up this recipe. I've not made this one before, and I've never put onion powder, garlic powder. Now, sometimes I put cornmeal, like a tablespoon of cornmeal in mine, because it makes it a little crispier. At least that's what it says it does. But I'm not, because I'm in a hurry, and this is just what I'm doing. Okay, notice I have a large pan. I've covered it. I've put foil on the bottom for easy cleanup. I put a cooling rack on top because that is going to get the bacon crispy on top and on bottom. And I have sprayed the rack. Okay, it says all the recipes say to cut the bacon in half. I cut it in thirds. I just like just like a bite, or well, it's about 3 bites when you cut it in thirds. but you can get as many as you want, and I don't know, I just like this size. So go with me or do what the recipe says, whichever you would rather do. Okay, so I have mixed those ingredients, the brown sugar and the other stuff together. Oh, these are my kitchen shears. That's not just my regular scissors that I use for everything else. And now I am going to just coat the bacon. I just like put it in there and I make sure, I make sure that each piece gets good and coated with all the stuff. And then it's going to shrink. So I really put as many slices on there as I possibly can together. I put them right beside each other. Never had a problem. So I'm going to do this real fast. Then what does it say? We're going to bake it. Oh, dog. Okay, we are going to bake this at 375 for about 20 minutes. And y'all, I'm not kidding. It's so good. I make this a lot of times for showers and things. Everybody's always asking how you make this. And it's easy. It's a little time consuming doing this part, but I mean, not too much. Just, it's nothing you have to be neat with. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing this. And then I'm going to put it in the oven, and then I will bring it out, and I will show you what it looks like. And y'all, oh my gosh, so good. Okay, glad I had time. Yay! Sometimes it's good to have friends that are late every now and then. Makes your life a little easier because you're not scrambling. And so I'll tell you this, Poppy has gone hunting for a few days, and Carla just happened to be in town right when he was out of town. So she's going to come over, and we will just have the best conversation as we always do. And she will be so kind as to keep me company tonight. So I'm excited. Always love catching up with her. She's one of those friends that you don't have to see nor talk to every day. You can just catch up right where you left off every time you see each other. Okay, gonna finish this and then I'll be back. Okay, I have almost licked my plate clean. Everything was, I hate to say it because I made it, but it was only the recipes that made it good. But I mean, they were all delicious. That quiche with all the stuff in it, all the vegetables, and that was incredible. Then the little parfait, these are my mom's. She gave me these little cute cups. Made our little parfaits with and I put some vanilla in the yogurt. I had that tip on a recipe, and it did sweeten it a little bit. And then we put the granola and the fruits and the honey, and it was so good. And what else we have, Carla? The candied bacon.
The bacon. My lips are still smacking from all of it. But,
The candied bacon was so good. And then the chocolate croissant was so good. I said we had been to Europe last summer and had eaten many a chocolate croissant. So I was going to see if this was
maybe better.
I mean,
it was so good. It's dessert for real. I asked for milk with it. It was so good. So good.
Anyway, that was a great breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner is the way to go.
So good. So do it. Make it. All of it is good. Delicious. And the quiche is gluten-free. I don't know if I said that earlier.
And it was delicious too. Yummy.
I loved the dish. I've made it before with just ham and cheese. But the addition of all the vegetables and the spinach and the onions and the tomatoes, ooh, it was okay.
I'll come back and order the same thing again next time.
All right, make it. Thanks for joining us.